You can rob my house because you are not an Indian and we can't do anything to you. We can't put you in jail. Can't do anything to you because we have no rights. If you have no rights, where are you? You're in prison. And they wanted to sign a treaty of peace based on international law. And so we granted that. They stopped in Chicago and changed the treaty and took away all our land that was in the state that is now in the state of Nebraska. We own 80% of Nebraska.
I just went to the United States Congress and I told them they took trillions of dollars worth of uranium, gold, timber, other resources off that land they stole.
The United States government made a nation-to-nation agreement with full-blood Indians. They did not make it with half-breeds. That is why we have to have a blood degree, so the federal government can find out when the last full-blood is alive, and when that full-blood's dead, no more treaty, no more Black Hills, no more IRA, no more Indian Health Service.
The world needs to see what's happening here in America, you know, to its indigenous people. You know, people want to hide this stuff, but it shouldn't be hidden.
Everybody but black people in this country have gotten something from the government. Even the Native Americans got reservations and casinos. Yet here we are, still screaming reparations, and we haven't gotten anything. But the Native Americans got something, right? Right? What it do? This is your brother Bishop of Bishops on TV, and that was a rhetorical statement that I made because y'all just saw that clip. And in that clip, you saw extreme poverty, extreme despair, similar to the plight of black Americans. Similar, but actually worse. See, oftentimes we like to throw Native Americans around. We like to use Native Americans as sort of a cosplay. We like to discuss Native Americans throughout American culture and American history, yet Native Americans are out of sight, out of mind. And a lot of times out here within our community that, hey, Native Americans got something, we didn't get nothing. Well, if this is what Native Americans received from the American government, then they can keep that shit. They can keep it. You know why? I'm here to tell you, Black America, you actually have it better than Native Americans. Native Americans are the poorest minority group in this country. The poorest. They have the highest poverty rate, the lowest labor force in this country. But see, we forget about the Native Americans. Native Americans are so impoverished, so out of sight, out of mind, that there are groups of people, black and white, that appropriate their culture and appropriate their history, hijack their cultural identity, and claim that they're the real Native Americans. That's why I wanted to show this to the general black public and just YouTube community in general, because oftentimes we don't hear these stories. The largest concentration of Native Americans in this country are located in places that not too many people, not too many Americans live in. You see right here, the Lakota tribe, that's just one indigenous nation that have been reduced to extreme alcoholism, extreme drug addiction. I find it funny that two of the ethnic groups that were oppressed the most in this country during the white manifestation happen to be the ones that are damn near the most oppressed still to this day. That's Native Americans and Black Americans. But again, like I say, we don't really touch on Native Americans' plight because they're out of sight, out of mind. See, Black Americans' problems are right there in your face because large percentages of Black people throughout this country live in urban centers. That's where the majority of Americans live in this country. And the urban major cities in this country are the driving force for cultural institutions, workforce, industries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can't ignore Black America, but you can ignore Native Americans. And this is why I'm making this video, because I want y'all to really understand that whatever you think that the government is doing for others, they're not. If you think you're gonna get reparations, look what they gave them. Look what they gave the Native Americans. Reservations are worse than housing projects throughout this country, I guarantee you. It's very depressing. I also want to say to the fake ass Aboriginal wobble nigga knees, the nigga nanchies, the nigga panchies, whatever you want to call yourselves. I want to say to y'all, if these were fake Native Americans, if these were the so-called fake Mongoloid Native Americans, why would they choose poverty? Why would they choose extreme poverty? Why would they choose depression? Why would they choose drug addiction? Why would they choose alcoholism? Why would they choose that? Y'all can make y'all videos and y'all lavish, well, Section 8 housing. I know some of y'all in some nice apartments, but y'all are more privileged. Y'all are in a more privileged position. And I know as a Black man saying that sounds funny, but I'm just dealing with facts. But you are in a more privileged position than them. And now I understand why they go by this full blood test. Because yes, you can say as a Black person of African descent who grew up on an indigenous land, who grew up in indigenous land, that you are just as much as a citizen as the people who are that tribe genetically, which is awfully or eerily similar to Black people here on the landmass of America, the United States of America, telling white folks, I'm just as American as you. It's the same argument. It is. I'm sorry to tell you, but it is. But I understand the need to fight for that citizenship. But when you have been reduced to one of the smallest demographics in this country, compared to when you were the largest group of people on this country before European contact, when you have been reduced basically little to nothing, and I'm not saying they're little to nothing as far as their humanity, I'm just talking about the numbers, the sheer numbers of indigenous people throughout this country, then then you have to hold on to that blood. You have to hold on to that DNA, because that's all you got at that point in order to reserve a little bit of humanity, welfare for your community, for your group of people. Because at the end of the day, you're genetically linked to these people. This is your people. You didn't waltz your way into this country, or you wasn't enslaved in that indigenous nation. You don't have the luxury to forget who you are and then try to reclaim it through internet sources, like so many Black Aborigines. They're not reclaiming anything. They're not teaching their own people who they are. They already know who they are. That's why it's comical when I hear all this Dane Calloway codism. How the hell you forget who you are completely like that on your own homeland? That just don't make no sense. Nowhere on this planet does that exist. So I just want to give y'all another perspective to let people understand that there are other people suffering in this country that would never, unfortunately, never get proper justice. Hopefully, it gets better for them collectively. But I mean, I highly So let me know what y'all think. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment or two. And until next time, holla.